Good morning. It's a cool morning this morning. It's 30s-ish. Not the best day for working, but not too bad here in the shop. It's pretty windy out. I was going to shoot a little bit of coverage, and I'm going to have to shoot some of this series outside just because I'm not dragging a whole car in here to show you that. But most of this series I can shoot here in the shop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try something a little different. And all of these introductions are going to be exactly the same because I'm going to use this introduction for all of the series. But we're going to cover miscellaneous things, motor mounts, transmission bell housings and or transmissions. Let's see, we're going to go with 4-speed transmissions, the difference between A, B, C, E body. We're going to go over K-frames, the similarities and differences between big block and small block. So basically I'm going to do a little mini-series on big block and small block and the differences of the different parts you're going to need if you go from small block to big block or vice versa. A lot of guys are switching over from small blocks to big blocks, and even a few crazy people that might want to go the other way. But so a lot of times not knowing will end up spending money where you don't have to. I've had a guy call me up. He's all excited because he bought this transmission at a great deal for a small block, and he didn't want it for 440. He had no idea that there was a difference between the big and the small block. So I'm going to do this little mini series, and I'm going to do little bitsy ones, little short ones on each item, and that way y'all don't have to waste a lot of time watching, 45 minutes of video if all you care about is what the difference between the motor mounts is. So I'll do a bunch of mini series, and then is that a word? Series? Well, anyway. And that way you can just tune into whichever one you want. But I'm also going to do one long one, which is going to cover all of these things, the transmissions and the motor mounts and the, bell houses and, K-frames and all that stuff. So that way you can watch the whole thing at once instead of having to tune into each mini-series. So go either way. Okay? So I'm going to stop talking now because nobody really wants to hear me talk. You guys just want to know what's what, right? So here we go. We're going to start with, doesn't really matter, does it? But we're probably going to start with the differences on the 4-speed transmissions between A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Of course, F and A are the same. So anyway, there's a million different, just tune in. We're going to start with this transmission, simply because it's on the bench, and if y'all remember, it should be out, just did a little series on changing the snout on this thing. We changed the, the output shaft, or input shaft. On that. So this is a B body only transmission. If you look at the tail shaft, you'll see that the shifter mechanism right here, or the shifter mounting bracket, excuse me, is right here, right up against the case. It's like right there, like an inch at the most. It's right there. So that's a B body only. There's no other shift pattern on there. So this is for B bodies. Oh, and trucks. Trucks will also have that same position for the shifter. So B body and or trucks on the 833 4-speed. This one here is a little different. If you'll notice, it still has the pad here for the B body and or truck. But if you scoot on down to the back end of the tail shaft, you'll see it's got a mounting bracket for an E body. This would be E or C. And this one particular one's not drilled, but it could have gone to E, drill these out, and you could put it in an E body or a C body. So B body, B, or C. That's a simple designation. Now I do not have an A body to show you. So I'm just going to kind of point it out and let you know if it's an A body, one, the tail shaft is going to be shorter. It'll be about here. It's going to be four to 6 inches shorter. And your shifter pad is going to be somewhere in this area. It's not going to be way up front like this one. Not going to be way in the back because this will be gone. That won't be there on an A body because it's shorter. And your shifter is going to be right about in this area. Okay? And you can, and I've actually thought about doing it, and now that I mention it, somebody's going to jump on it for me. I thought about building a bracket between here and here on these particular transmissions and put the mounting pad on that bracket so I could put these in an A body. Because this is so skinny. If you had a 727 in an A body, it would be the same length. So there's no reason why you can't put one of these in an A body, except for the shifter will be in the wrong place. So if you build a bracket from here to here and put your bracket where it belongs, to be good to go. So maybe if I get some time, which probably will never happen, I may actually manufacture a bracket to do just that. And just for kicks and giggles, this particular transmission, she's beautiful, right? She's in great shape. If you look over here, it's got a different output shaft. And normally there's like a knuckle on there, like for a U-joint. And these are called ball and trunnion type transmissions. Now trucks also would come with that U-joint on the back end of it. So it doesn't have a slip yoke like, a regular slip yoke. It has what they call a ball and trunnion. And so these are for older, like 1965 and older cars or trucks that have that ball and trunnion on the back, or knuckle, some people call it. And so there's the differences in your 833 transmissions. Well, that's pretty much it. Covered all the things I wanted to cover. You can look at each individual video on one component, or you can watch the finale one that covers all the different applications, if you will. So sorry about the sniffling and the hat and the gloves, but it's kind of cold out here. Hopefully spring will come quickly, and that'll be that. We can get back to doing the fun stuff that freeze to death while you're working. Yeah, I'm a sissy, don't like the cold, but I'm actually kind of cozy and warm right now. But it's hard to work with gloves, yeah, So anyway, thank you for watching. Do me a favor and subscribe. Y'all are awesome.